Alright guys, so today I'm going to be bringing you a Sticky Bomb one-shot build. Now, before people dive into the comments and whatever controversy may arise out of this, there's a disclaimer. There was an internal debate at Upper Echelon about whether or not I should even post this. I do not like fighting against this build, and some people may say, well then why did you put it out there in build video format? Well, the reason is because I don't want to be biased. I'm trying to produce as much Division content and the best Division content that I can, and that means not picking and choosing whether or not I want to put something out there if it's a good build, just because I don't want to see it more often. I don't like fighting against it, but it is a very strong build. You can one-shot entire groups of enemy agents without a problem, and it is made only stronger by someone that has better timing than I do, someone that has better familiarity with the Sticky Bomb, how it functions, and someone that can tweak the build further to be stronger. There's a lot of room for this to improve, and it's already devastatingly powerful. So to get right into it, I'm going to be using 4-piece tack, some high ends, the Liberator, and a set of skills and talents that I'll talk about in a second. Now, I'm running all electronics pieces with one stamina piece. Now, which stamina piece that is does not matter. I've chosen for it to be the mask. But on the mask, if you have electronics or stamina, again, does not matter. I have stamina here. You have a major attribute of skill power. You want as high skill power major attribute as you can possibly roll. And then for the minor attribute, you would prefer to have enemy armor damage, but blind and deaf resistance, whatever is there, doesn't really matter that much. Moving on, we have the Tactician's Authority Kneepads. Again, super high electronics rolls on everything else across the board. For the major attribute, you want armor, absolutely, unequivocally. And then for the minor attributes, you want enemy armor damage if you can get it, but it's not essential to the build at all because you're not relying on gun DPS in the slightest. Moving on to the holster, again, major attribute armor. I'm just going to save some time here. You're rolling armor on everything, even in patch 1.5. That hasn't changed. Nothing has really changed about that. You're getting armor on every gear piece that you can if you're going to be going into PvP, and you're going to be rolling it on every mod that you can because armor is still an extremely potent attribute. Now, other than that, you don't really care about firearms. You want a high stamina roll and a high electronics roll. Outside of that, it doesn't really matter. Moving on to your gloves, as high electronics as possible. The major attributes really don't matter that much, but you would prefer to have assault rifle damage because it is paired with the Liberator. Critical hit chance, critical hit damage are both great. Enemy armor damage as well, something like that. It's fine. Health on kill is helpful, but they don't really matter that much. The gloves are the least essential piece. All you're really going to want is electronics and then possibly assault rifle damage. Moving on to my two high ends, I am opting for the specialized backpack over the inventive backpack. One does increase skill power by a percentage based on how much health you have. If you're at full health, you'll have 15% increased skill power. But I'm not always going to be operating at full health, so I have opted to not run inventive and to actually run specialized because it's an unconditional skill power bonus that's active at all times. Now, it's only going to be active for about 12,000 skill power on this, but that's not a big deal because, as you can see, you're at a baseline value of 290,000. That's absurdly high. That's before any other bonuses are active, and there's a multitude of other bonuses that can become active in basically any fight in the Dark Zone. So as high electronics as possible. I sound like a broken record, but that's the gist of the build. And then moving on, we have the Vigorous chest piece. It's important to run Vigorous so you can have an overheal with your booster shot, and your booster shot is going to bring you from 0 to a complete overheal every single time you pop it. Again, as high electronics as possible. And then for the major attributes, you want armor and health. You can roll something like EDR if you feel like it, but armor is the key there. And then for the minor attributes, you want some ammo capacity because it's a quality of life thing, really. You don't want to be running out in any PvP fights, so having ammo capacity on your chest piece at the very least is a very good thing to have. Moving on to my guns, there's only one gun that's important. The Liberator here is very, very good. Not only does the RPM of 850 pair extremely well with the Tactician's Authority to stack up that bonus faster, the third piece talent guaranteed is Talented. Now, Talented reads, killing a target with this weapon increases skill power by 15% for 20 seconds. The effect does not stack, however, killing a new target refreshes the timer. 15% of 290,000 is a large number, and that's for 20 seconds. And it's very easy to find an NPC to kill in the Dark Zone, let alone if you rifle butt someone. That also procs Talented. So this is a very important talent to have. If you have any other gun that has Talented in the third slot, you can also run that, but that's the essential portion. Now, the Liberator is just a guaranteed way to get it and has high RPM. That's why I've opted to run it. And it's also an assault rifle, which has a really great amount of enemy armor damage built right in. So you are going to have a little bit of competitive gun DPS to pair with that. You're not going to be activating Competent. You're not going to be activating Determined. However, you can activate Competent if you would like. All it requires doing is switching one of your mods over to firearms, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's not something that's essential. You're really just going to be relying on the one-shots from Sticky Bomb. So moving on to how it's modded, it doesn't really matter at all. Magazine size is pretty powerful for a gun like this, but everything else you're not going to be using it very much, so I wouldn't even pay attention. The core component, again, is the sticky bomb. Now for your secondary or your pistol, you don't really need to worry about a secondary rifle. If you want to run a marksman rifle with cool-headed, that's fine. If you want to run another SMG or something like that, again, that's fine, but it's not essential to the build. Another thing, though, that is not essential but can drastically improve the build is running a pistol that has cool-headed. I do not have one here, but if I were to re-roll Brutal for cool-headed on this 93R or on any other pistol variant, I'm not even sure if they kept cool-headed on the 93R because it was so overpowered in the PTS. But if I were to have any pistol variant with cool-headed on it, I could then stack my Tactician's Authority with my Liberator, and then switch over to my pistol and land headshots to decrease the cooldown on my sticky bomb, and just dish burst damage after burst damage after burst damage, and one-shot more and more people. That's a very potent way to increase the power of the build. Moving on to my abilities and my talents, there's some very key interactions here. For abilities, you're going to run Booster Shot. That's guaranteed. As you can see, with the base amount of skill power that I have, before it's augmented by Tac Authority or by Talented on your gun, you're going to have 154,000 self-heal, which means 0 to a full overheal every single time, and a very low cooldown of 18 seconds. That's very, very short. Moving on to your sticky bomb, you're going to run BFB. Now, some people may want to run proximity fuse, but the bonus damage is what's really key here. Though proximity fuse does have a lower cooldown, a larger explosion radius, it does have less damage, so you want to run BFB. It's also good in chase scenarios because it will bleed the target, possibly. The explosion radius is small, so it's very important to aim, and I'll demonstrate that in a second in the gameplay. But this is the core premise of the build. Moving on to talents, there are only a few that are essential, and outside of that, there's some customization you can run, but chain reaction is absolutely essential. The 20% damage is not even necessary. You can one-shot a lone target. The 20% damage from having multiple targets in that blast radius just means extra one-shot. And then moving on to on the move, you can use this. It's very helpful for keeping you alive, but it's not essential to the build. Something like Demolition Expert is also very good. However, you're not going to be able to use this effectively without having cool-headed on your pistol. So that's a very important pairing to note. And then moving on, we have Critical Save. Very important for staying alive. That's essential to the build. That's pretty much essential to every single PvP build. And then we have Combat Medic. You can opt out of Combat Medic, especially if you're running solo. If you are running solo, then use something like Strike Back. Reduced cooldowns is very effective with this build, more so than any other build I've run to date. And Combat Medic is only going to be if you're in a group play scenario. So now moving on, I am going to talk really quickly before I forget about my mods. Every single mod that I have is electronics with armor. That's important for the build for increasing your toughness as well as increasing your skill power. But if I were to switch a single mod from electronics to firearms with armor, while I would lose 8,000 skill power, I would activate Competent on the Liberator and then have increased damage in pairing with my booster shot and be able to actually trade with enemy agents and have relevant gun DPS. It's not essential, it's user's preference, but it's something that I don't actually opt to do. I don't really care about it. I'm always going for those one-shots, and that's where the benefit of the build is. So now I'm going to kick it over to some gameplay. Oh, before I forget again, really quickly, sorry, it's been a very long night. A lot of debate about whether or not you should even show this build. You're going to want to run performance mods with sticky bomb damage. That's the exact thing that you want at all times. If you can find the high-end variant of this that has more sticky bomb damage, that just means, again, extra one-shot. So it's very powerful. You're going to want to run 4 performance mods that have sticky bomb damage. If you do have 3 of them that have the high-end variant, you could even run something like sticky bomb explosion radius. That would mean that you can one-shot more agents at once because the area of effect is going to be larger. All right, so before I get into the real PvP, I'm going to be demonstrating on my friend Manny, who is running a standard Alpha Bridge build. The sticky bomb is capable of one-shotting him, as you can see there, over 500,000 damage. This is, again, before something like Talented. This is without any other bonuses, and this is without chain reaction proccing, even because it's only one target. As you can see there, it's a one-shot. As soon as I start proccing bonuses like Talented or any of my Tactician's Authority bonus, as of right now, I've procced a little bit of the Tac Authority. I have proc Talented. I'm now at 362,000 skill power. My sticky bomb is much higher in terms of the damage it's dealing, and I can actually do well over 180,000 damage. That's an even greater one-shot. And again, that is without chain reaction. There are a lot of things interacting here that make this a super one-shot build. You can drop entire teams at once. So now I'm going to kick it over, and really quickly, I can get over 409,000 skill power. That is achievable. Realistically achievable in this build. All you need to do is be in a squad, have your squad reach the max amount of skill power, the max amount of bullets, and then proc Talented. That's all you have to do. Now, As you can see there, I can drop enemy solo agents easily, 1 bomb, 1 kill. I can drop people from range when they're running away from you. You also have the bleed, but you don't even need it because if the sticky bomb detonates on them, it's a 1-shot kill, as you can see there, on that enemy manhunt agent. There's a lot of different reasons why this is going to become something that you will encounter, so you should start prioritizing EDR and not running just your standard basic, let's say, Alpha Bridge 2 high-end build, because you're going to be susceptible to these one-shots without 2-piece final measure, and even then you'll be able to be one-shotted right through the 2-piece final measure if they are snapshotting their bonuses correctly and timing their sticky bomb in this kind of skill weaver type of build very, very well. Now, moving on, we did have these guys and they clapped on the body, so I decided, okay, let's throw a frag grenade, let's use a sticky bomb, and let's kill them. Drop 2 very easily. In tandem with frag grenades, it's super overpowered, and you can just drop anyone at all, and they basically have no chance. It doesn't even matter if they spec full into EDR, because grenades are so powerful at the time, or currently as well. And then moving on, you just have to wait for your sticky bomb to come back. You just have to wait for your skills, and then you can do it all again. It's very simple. So all I do here is kite them. All I do is wait for my heal. I pop that. I have a full overheal, and then I fire my sticky bomb, and boom, another 2 kills. It's extremely strong. It's stronger than it was, I believe, back in 1.2 when it was the meta, and there's a lot of utility and potential with it. You can put it on the ground. There's advanced tactics where you dodge out of it, where you trick people into being inside it. The only drawback is that it's a small radius, and you actually have to get it very near to their feet to get that guaranteed one-shot. But if you do, you'll be able to get it every time you fire the bomb. As soon as you're proccing any sort of bonus, again, as you can see here, I have some bonuses. I detonate the bomb, and I'm doing about 190,000 damage there. So much damage can come out of this build so quickly. It's something that I guarantee you will be in the Darkstone, so start prioritizing EDR if you don't want to get killed by this. As always, guys, thank you for watching. We have a vibrant Facebook community you should check out, a Discord community in the description as well. Those links are there. Check those out. Join up with Upper Echelon. We have a lot of good things going on. I hope you guys liked the video. Participate in the discussion. And as always, thanks for watching and have a nice night.